Recently, some information came out causing some confusion, anger, and dissatisfaction among the public that Harry received a larger inheritance than his older brother William. As we know, Harry is a traitor to his family and his country, but that's not the biggest disaster. The time bomb is ticking on the side of his greedy, narcissistic wife, Meghan Markle. We're going to update you on all the details of the incident in this video. Reportedly, Harry received a more significant share from their great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother's estate. Now, it's estimated to be worth around £70 million after she passed away in 2002. According to recent revelations, Harry got a larger amount of inheritance than his brother, Prince William. Okay, so let's explain this difference. Well, as first in line to the throne, Prince William is going to inherit substantial royal assets and resources upon ascending to the throne. But Harry, as the spare, as the younger sibling and fifth in line to the throne, is positioned further down the line of succession. Now, this disparity probably influenced the distribution of the inheritance. But let's be real. We can be sure no amount of money would ever be enough for Meghan Markle because she is so materialistic. Harry, the multimillionaire, whined and moaned about being cut off, but in reality, Harry's father, Charles, had given him a few extra millions when he was in Canada, but stopped giving him all that extra money when he kept on asking for more. Harry is already a multimillionaire on his own from inheritance money, and he's going to earn a good amount of interest on that too. So no, it's completely unacceptable for him to keep asking for more money. And maybe it's actually good news because it's going to keep him from slithering back to Britain and begging for more money to keep Meghan Markle happy. And as far as Prince William goes, I highly doubt that he cares one way or the other. He's got a lot more money now that he's got the Duchy of Cornwall. And as for Harry, I don't think it's right that everybody claims that he's just stuck in adolescence, that he hasn't been able to move past the time when his mother passed away. No, I think this is just an excuse to cover up his bad behavior. We hear that every single time he does something that he needs to cover up. He had all the same opportunities as his older brother Prince William did when it comes to education, and people claim that William is a lot smarter than he is. But that could be because he didn't waste his education. He didn't act like an idiot at school. If Harry had applied himself more, then he would have gotten good grades like William. Clearly, he just didn't think he needed an education. And I'm not fooled by Harry. I mean, it's obvious many people, though, were still accepting all his BS. So perhaps that's going to finally help Harry get over that he only got 2 sausages while William got 3 at breakfast. And I do hope that Harry has enough sense to protect his money from that narcissistic gold digger he married, Meghan Markle, but probably not, to be honest with you. With all that money, though, surely Harry can start paying for his own security in his court cases too. Or is Meghan gonna need it so that she can buy more ill-fitting designer outfits and more jewelry for herself? You know, too, this is going to delay the separation and the divorce until Meghan has figured out a legal entitlement claim to most of Harry's share. I've got the feeling that Harry is not going to come out good in this, and it's still nowhere near what Sunak is worth, and he's still working flat out to make sure that he adds more money to his pocket from the British people naturally. As for that Sunak, people are saying that his legacy deals are not going to be many one-offs, but instead will be a series of lifetime legacies where he gets benefits from various tie-ups for the rest of his life. I mean, everybody knew the Queen Mother left more to Harry because William would end up with a Cornwall income, so this should not be a big surprise. The Queen Mother, when she passed away, she also left debts, and she also had 12 great-grandchildren. So where exactly is the evidence that Harry got most of it? Harry would have expected money from his father, but her other grandchildren didn't have access to that kind of wealth. As royal wills are not available to view, where exactly is this information coming from? And yeah, it's a lot of money to people like us, but for Harry, no, it's not that much. I think most of that has already been wasted, if not everything. Because, I mean, remember, Meghan Markle is married to him. And after Harry and Meghan left in a huff to be financially independent, Charles let them know he wasn't a bank. Charles said that he would give them money for a year. And the Duchy of Cornwall accounts show that Charles gave Harry the same amount that he had given him each year before that. Sounds to me like Harry needs to do some more research on what it means to be financially independent. Charles was also not the one to take away the security. That decision was made by a Home Office committee, and they gave Harry ample warning. He and his aides had talks and meetings with the Home Office before the meeting with his family to talk about leaving. The dates of the conversations and the meetings were detailed in the evidence for his case against the Home Office, and Harry was given a year to consider his decision to leave, understanding full well what the consequences would be. Now, I think if we're here about divorce in the future, Meghan's going to want to wait until after Charles passes away, because in that case, there's probably going to be a lot more coming Harry's way. And I don't believe William is going to put up with him. I think William is going to cut him off altogether. Of course he would, though. I mean, William has to think about his own children. And Meghan will have wasted any previous inheritance money that he got by that point. William, though, is doing fine. William didn't miss out on anything. The trust set up by the Queen Mother pays out when William turns 40 and Harry's the same. Now, William is older, so he already got his money, and she left William less because she understood that he would end up inheriting the Duchy of Cornwall from his father when the Queen passed away. But in comparison to an annual income of about $20 million per year, what Harry's getting are probably peanuts. And Meghan is going to blow through that in no time, probably buying some more ugly, expensive clothes for herself that make her look even weirder. And let's not forget, their lifestyle is beyond expensive. To start a business giving revenue of that amount of money takes a lot of hard work and also a lot of skill. But Meghan Markle doesn't have either of those attributes. Another thing we need to remember is that when the Queen Mother passed away, Meghan Markle was not in Harry's life. Now, people do some very harmful things to their family when they believe they're in love, or when they've been manipulated into believing that person is, I don't know, the reincarnated version of their late mother, perhaps, wearing the same perfume. Unfortunately, though, in the case of these abusive relationships, it's always people who are closer to the victim who can see the abuse before the victim does. And it's 100% intentional. Abusers carefully and systematically alienate their victim from their once close family. It's basically textbook abuse, and the whole world has a front seat view thanks to Meghan Markle. Her narcissism is out of this world, and the way that she controls Harry is disgusting. The late Queen got to meet her, had the misfortune of meeting her, I should say, and what Meghan wants, Meghan gets was thrown at her. Now, the Queen made certain that Meghan did not get what she was demanding, and I love her very classy way of not calling Meghan Markle a liar, but in reality she was. We could all tell what she meant. Recollections may vary. It was genius. The late Queen truly was a class act. I don't believe we're ever going to see anyone like her again. Now, if my parents left me millions of dollars, then I would have to pay inheritance tax. Harry doesn't live in Britain anymore, and he's no longer a working royal. So I think it's fair that a Freedom of Information Act disclosure confirms that he's paying full tax on his non-earned income, right? Fair is fair. And we all know how seriously Harry and Meghan take their social responsibility to the community. They're humanitarians, they're philanthropists, remember? Or maybe it would be better for Harry to pay his inheritance taxes for non-earned income in the US. I don't believe, though, for one moment that these two would try to avoid paying their way. No, they're not hypocrites, are they? So Harry's fortune is estimated at somewhere between £30 million and £48 million, and Meghan's is estimated to be somewhere around $5 million, if she saved well, but I don't think she did. And let's not forget that when Meghan met Harry, she was already a bit over the hill, and she only had one good role to her name in that Canadian-shot cable TV soap that in the 7th season had already lost 2/3 of its audience compared to the first season. She was not some big success. She wasn't a star, and the Hollywood A-listers like the Clooneys had never heard her name. They said that to the reporters at their wedding. So she figured that by marrying Harry, she had finally struck gold, but unfortunately, it was just fool's gold. With that money, though, they really could have started a good life for themselves in the US without having to make all that money by trashing the royal family. But of course, Meghan Markle wasn't happy with just a good life. She had to reach for the stars. But Meghan and Harry still haven't fulfilled their promises to Spotify, Netflix. Spare did not end up making as much money as they said that it would. And remember how Harry pledged the profits to charity? Oh, well, did he send that money to charity? If so, what charities? Or perhaps he didn't. And now we're just counted in this guessing game of how much money is Harry worth. Now, if he's got all this money, why was he whining that his father cut off his allowance? Seems like Harry is never going to be satisfied, much like that witch he married. I guess really it's no wonder that Harry's so miserable. I mean, he was convinced that he'd been born into enormous wealth and privilege, and now he's finding out that he's going to have to live on the pittances left to him by his mother and his great-grandmother. So no wonder he had to make money by selling out his family. I mean, who wouldn't be like that in his shoes? Oh, wait a minute, every decent person out there, I guess. But William did not lose out. William has all the palaces and the houses and the land, and Harry was kicked out of Frogmore Cottage, and he didn't have anywhere to stay when he visited for what was it, 30 minutes last month? William also has 3 beautiful, well-behaved, intelligent children, and Harry has maybe 2 invisible children. I'm not even sure at this point. Meghan supposedly has a daughter from a previous relationship, but we may never know the truth about that one. Now, William represents the UK on the world stage with style and grace and class and dignity. Harry, on the other hand, represents a wasted life, a lifetime of embarrassment and drug use. But if he didn't have any money, if he didn't have anywhere to live, and if he lived the life of a hermit, his family probably would help him out a little bit. But in the end, one of the biggest problems is William has Catherine. And that's something Harry is never going to get over. Because if William wakes up in the middle of the night, he gets to see a gorgeous woman. If Harry wakes up in the middle of the night, he turns over and he is in for quite the jump scare. All he's got is Skeletor Meghan Markle. And William lost out? No, I don't think William is the one who lost out here. Alright folks, that's all I've got about Prince Harry hitting the jackpot with a huge inheritance, but William missed out? Okay. How do you feel about this topic? What are your feelings? Let me know below in the comments. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you tonight.